Hello, welcome to Void War. I played about 50 hours and this game is amazing. This game is actually FTL2, Faster Than Light 2, and to be honest it improves the game so much that it feels like it's a true sequel to the game, but also something completely different. Mostly because it added so many things to the game. Now this is the version before the release, so we should have all of the stuff in the game, including all of the commanders. As you can see, you also have a resource, so it has a roguelike element because you need this resource over here to unlock commanders and ships. And the commanders themselves are kind of interesting because in the beginning you only have one choice and then you get more and more choices. And they become more specialized. Like for example, he has armor, weapon and utility slots, 90 health, 3 damage. And then you go to the mutant, he has more health, moves fast. And has 2 weapon slots, so that means he'll deal a lot of damage. Now weapons can be melee or range, but in practice they more or less do the same thing, except the melee weapons will be more brutal. And the ranged weapons will be more for utility. For example, the melee weapons can destroy adjacent rooms, can attack multiple enemies. Depends on the weapon. Melee weapons can have more interesting effects like stunning, like dealing more damage if the enemy is, let's say, under 50 HP or something like that. You're basically going to give up your armor. Armor can also offer resistance to suffocation, which means you will not need oxygen and you can teleport on some demon ships better. Yeah, the demon ships... Some of the demon ships, well, I guess you'll be fighting ships that don't have any oxygen in them, and boarding them is very tricky unless you have a squad that can handle zero oxygen environments. This is my favorite character. I played with the cybernetic for so much. As you can see, the difference is that he has 2 utility slots. Utility slots can also be used to increase damage or do some other things because, again, it's such a wonderful and master crafted game that you will not believe the amount of balance that went into this game, and you're never overpowered, even though some commanders will seem overpowered. Poison resistance, suffocation resistance, repair speed, that's great. I think I'll more or less play with the cybernetic all the time. Then you, for example, have the wheat, which is well, exactly what it sounds like. A Nurgle Space Marine. You also have... Additionally, you don't just have the weapons and the boarding and the stuff, you also have psychic powers which are super strong. This one, for example, summons 3 zombies in the room. He's also immune to poison, but he moves slower. But he has a psychic slot, which is a spell. You cannot remove spells. If you want to learn a new spell, you'll have to forget the older one. Then you also have the paladin. He has embolden, as you can see. All friendly crew aboard the ship. And this is also available for the enemy ship, so if you teleport to the enemy ship with 1 or 2 crew members, they will also get this buff. Well, I guess this one is not very clearly explained, but that's how I understand it works, because in the beginning he had a much weaker ability. The Priestess. Starscream, I guess that's for damage. Exactly what you expect it is. Archmage, this one is an interesting one because he has a lot of health and better damage, but he doesn't have any more or less utility slots, but he is a powerful psyker. He looks very big. And the last page over here will be with the more specialized commanders like the Assassin, which ignores doors and moves very fast, has poison DPS. I think this was weaker, she was buffed for sure. The Cannibal gains life on kill but cannot rest. When you move to a new zone, you gain 50% HP, you heal 15% HP, and the attacks will slow the enemy crew. That's actually great. And he has 2 weapon slots and he has 5 damage. Oh, okay. You can see the characters themselves, the commanders, are going to add a lot of replayability as well. And then you have the last 2 commanders which were added. This one was added today and this one was added recently as well. Cyberfused cannot move, but starts with a teleporter. And he has a 25% chance to deal 15 HP damage to the enemies in the room. Which is great because he also has all of the slots, armor, weapon and utility. Plus he has a ton of health. The thing is that he cannot move, which is not so bad if you think about it, and they also have a cute little background story. The Roughneck was added today with the patch. It's a hull bridge nearby, Rock Crusher. That's actually very good. Witness all manner of industrial accidents, yeah. door break speed. So he starts with immunity to suffocation and has, wow, okay, so this is the very specialized border. Be careful you don't lose your commander in a boarding action, because that means you lose the game. We'll play with the cybernetic just because he's the most well balanced around. And now the ships are huge. You have version A, you have version B. You need to finish the game with a certain version to unlock the other one. So basically what you'll be doing is playing the game on normal difficulty. Well, you can play it on any difficulty you like. So for example, to unlock version B of the Explorator, you need to finish the game with the Explorator. And to unlock the C versions, you more or less need the Resonance resources, as you can see. Some of these are actually, I think some of these are the new ships. I haven't even looked at. Oh, okay, so that's a lot of resources I'll need to unlock some of them. But just look at the amount of ships you have. Well, most of them will not be so different from each other, but usually when you go to the B versions, they'll be much more advanced and specialized. We have 18. We have 23 ships in total. Unknown vessel. Where is the unknown? Maybe I need to finish the game again with some other stuff, or just unlock some of this stuff. I distinctly remember having unlocked some of this. Anyway, let me just show you quickly the differences. So let's start with the Relic Freighter, which is great because look at this. You have future factors. You also have modules. So this one might not be so good in the beginning, but it's amazing, trust me. You can deal damage and you can also prevent the enemies from repairing the system. So that means if you disable their shields and weapons, they cannot really repair them. You also have a Deathbringer, which is a Psyker, which has a teleport spell, but you can also teleport enemy crew members to random parts of your ship, so you can also do reverse boarding, which is so hilarious because sometimes you can teleport the enemies on your ship and kill them here. You can also do teleporting with missiles, you can also do teleporting with the psychic powers. You can do so many things, it's almost unbelievable how much you can do. You also have a Death Knight, which is a Nurgle Space Marine. Has also a skill. As you can see here is also a Psyker. Plus you have your commanders. You have the commander and the crew. So let's look at the B version of the Relic Freighter. You'll get a Mortician. Summons free rot spawn. Projectile minus 3 damage. Mage, and then you also have a Necromancer. So ghouls and rot spawn. Ghouls are stronger versions of the rot spawn basically. A Radium Blaster that kills the crew, so 10 HP to all Death Cult units. This will also apply to the summons, so yeah, the game can become really fun. And let's see the C variant. Sigil of Rot Poison does double damage to enemy crew. Oh wow. And start with the Zeus cannon. Single projector, but has damages everything and does a lot of hull damage. Radium Blaster kills the crew. Blood Mites are even stronger Chaos Demons. So you also have basically factions. You have basically the humans, you have the Space Marines, you have also the forces of chaos, I guess, which are more or less mirroring the human and the Space Marine factions. Then you also have the Tech Priests, and then you also have the demons. I suspect they'll add more factions and more stuff to the game because the game is infinitely moddable and can grow infinitely. As you can see, all of these variants are actually much more specialized and more fun to play with. But look at the rooms themselves. Sometimes you'll lose something, sometimes you'll gain something. So not all of the rooms will start with the same systems. And especially not with the same system power. But again, that's going to be something for later. Let me show you another ship. Because I want to give you another example. Okay, this one is a pretty good example. The Oblivion Cruiser will have the Obscene Organ, which gives damage and health to all demonic units. That's demonic, that's demonic. Sadly, these are just slow ghouls. Cult is lost to decay.
「
Cult is lost to decay. And you also have a Ghoul Magus, which, as you can see, they are kind of weak. So let's go to the B versions. Carnivore Hatch sends the enemy back to the ship. Bolt cannons, you also have the lances. The lances have limited charges per combat. They charge with jumps, but they do a lot more damage and they already start loaded in the battle. Then if you go over here, as you can see, you have the Gristlehound. Fast, deadly, fear. I forgot what fear does. You have a Blood Priest, they look horrible. And a Gladiatrix. Okay, so that's enough explanations. Let's see what we can play with, and I'll probably start with a C version of a cruiser. Let me find something that is fun. Dark Matter Prism. I think this is just for teleporting. Yeah, let's... Oh yeah, the Gene Soldiers, look at them. They're basically these super space mutants, but I guess their body needs a lot of oxygen because they have big muscles. Feral Scribe. Some of them will have very low health, but they'll have psychic powers or some other stuff. Also, the ship layout is important because you'll be adding some other systems like the med bay. As you can see, we don't have a med bay. The teleporter hatch as well. Oh, this one. Oh, we don't have any crew in this one. That's going to be tricky to play with. And the difficulties are also very important because the game gets harder, but you also gain access to more important stuff, to stronger crew members, to stronger modules, stronger weapons, and so on. So not just an increase of difficulty. Merchant stocks has significantly greater variety. Enemy crews are stronger. Gap is reduced. Enemy ships have access to more weapons, and then Torment 4, bosses are stronger. So this is the hardest difficulty you'll be facing in a way, because after you learn the game and you finish a few runs, the bosses will get stronger, and that's the biggest change. Current, okay. Actually, let's play with the B version, because the C versions are harder to use, and that's not what I want to show today. Oh, commanders. If you have the new commander with this guy, these guys will be able to board ships without any problems, but we need the hatch for that. I guess the easiest way to do it is to play with this one. Yeah, so let's play with the basic ship, with a basic commander and no modules, and you'll see. Now, I'll also do a let's play of the game for sure. That's something new, by the way, abstract tuned. You can see more of the game, but for now, also, if you pledge to a listening station, to a Nexus, you will get more stuff from that faction. So you can pledge to a Chaos Demon faction, you can pledge to the Tech Priest, you can pledge to the Bandits, the Corsairs, the Outlaws of the space stuff. You'll get more stuff from them, like modules, crew members, and weapons. That's also a choice. Weapons, crew members. I guess we'll go through the Nexus, and then we'll go up here, and we'll go to the Merchant, and then over there. Now let me see. Go there. Commander will go there. I'll save it like this, and then go through. Launch the assault sled. This is randomized, so sometimes you cannot attack the enemy where you want. Extreme hit detected. Yeah, the game is pretty brutal. You can also basically make a hatch. You get the idea. You can eliminate all of the oxygen, so you will have an easier time fighting. I think you can open the hatches so the oxygen goes out of the ship, so it's easier to extinguish the fires. The fires are horrible. I think they're even stronger than normally. And that. Now, I want to leave before the next. Well, I guess I'll not. Ooh. They still have reduced movement speed from the thingy. Okay, we need to go. We need to go fast. A Raider clan. Nah, I don't want to pledge allegiance to a Raider clan. We would get some resources and some other stuff for that. They are great firefighters, by the way, because they have resistance. Oh, wow. This is quickly getting out of hand. Oh boy, yeah. Fire is even deadlier than normally. I don't have a lot of experience with fire, by the way. Also, that will damage your hull, so be very, very careful. Well, a good thing these guys are resistant to fire, otherwise it should have been almost game over. Phew. Did I mention the game is crazy hard sometimes? I guess it depends on what you like. So the developers, as you can see, left it to the player's choice if they want to increase the difficulty, if they want to have more fun, or if they want to have less fun. Return to the station, and the final boss is also pretty fun, but I'll not spoil that. I guess you can go to the repair shop, which might have modules and some other stuff. As you can see, you also have options based on your ship equipment. Yeah, I shouldn't go here because I don't have enough scrap to buy anything. You can also attack the ship, but you get reduced resources. You cannot trade and attack them. You either attack them or you don't in the beginning. Interesting. Well, I cannot really buy anything and I don't really want anything. Yeah, sure, let's get a missile bay. Now you have a choice of where to put it. It can be a 1-tile room, 2 or 4. The bigger the room, the more annoying it gets. I want a med bay over here, but as you can see, I'll not have the option of putting a 4-slot med bay because there's no 4-slot near the launch pad. Okay, thank you. Bye bye. Let's see what we get. So this thing is just a safe place to rest, which is not ideal because sometimes you just want more war, more fighting, more scrap. Scrap is actually pretty rare on this difficulty. We also have consumables, which you can also sell. Mostly I sell them, I don't reuse the consumables. Unless it's a very hard fight. Usually over here you'll scrounge scavenge munitions, but you can also construct a slave husk. Okay. So it's kind of easy to replace the crew, but you also want to replace them with something good. And in the beginning, the enemy crew members will not be so strong, but after a while they'll also get space marines and some more powerful stuff. That's an enforcer, this will take a while. Yeah, I haven't actually used my stuff. Yeah, we cannot defeat them. That's what I needed a little bit of time. Destroy the shields. Storm cannons fire 2 times, this one fires 1 shot. Also put them on auto, but I don't recommend you do that because you have to time them so they fire exactly at the same time. So yeah, the game has a lot of nuances to it. You can also simply miss. I guess if they don't have a shield, we can just attack them freely. That after a while we'll just put it like this, one weapon on shield, one weapon on the weapon. Yeah. 10% evasion and we still missed. This is the tricky part, because as you can see you can get into a area of the game that you might not like, okay? Have to sync them again. Otherwise the difference between them will be so huge, you'll not be able to shoot them at the same time anyway. You just have to be careful of their weapons, because if they catch you with a beam weapon without a shield, that will happen. Yeah, pretty hard, right? Oh boy. They have a combat husk, which is not so bad. I can just send 2 units to board them now. It might seem like boarding is overpowered, but trust me, it's not. It's not even close to that. Now this has a very low fall, so I'll not attack it in any way. And we should be okay. The Overseer is not bad in combat either. But this crap. Now, regarding the rewards, I think you get a little more if you uncrew the ship, but it's kind of hard to confirm. But from what I saw, you get a little more rewards if you uncrew them. Oh boy. Don't forget about the famous oxygen. If you don't notice that, well, good luck. I think that should be also highlighted better. Corrosive gas detected. This is not really a much better reward, but it means it can be something very, very good or something very bad. Let's see. Usually I don't go to places like this. These are just Corsairs. Okay, I'll try to board them again. Again, this is only good in the beginning of the game based on your commander and some other stuff. It will not work all the time. Especially because we don't have... let's send... We need some time to recharge. We cannot stand here for a long time. Okay, deactivate the weapons, otherwise you'll see that in this game you'll quickly kill your own crew members and especially commanders sometimes. Yeah, what? Don't run away. I'll take the engine here. Get me out of there as fast as possible. Ghost link focus, what? What is it? Okay, I like it. Install it. And as you can see, without a med bay, it's going to be really tricky to heal them. Even the med bay is limited use, so I will leave them like that, yeah. I think we'll upgrade our energy so we have enough for the weapons. Now, it's more or less exactly as you think. That's unpowered. Upgrade, power it. It will actually show you what the room does if it's crewed or manned. 10% charge speed. Evasion and speed manning gives you 5 evasion, charge speed. Weapons bay? Why don't I have someone in the weapons bay? I guess we're undercrewed for now. This game has... I think this game has kind of revolutionized the genre. Now I don't have any money to buy anything from here. I just want to show you what they have. Since this is a scavenger outlaw universe, you only have stuff like that. Ceremonial sword. See, 5 DPS against enemies with over 100 HP. First spear, this is the first time I see it. DPS on kill and an armor. So let's sell this stuff. You don't get much for it. Only have 5 scrap left. I think I would have bought the armor if I had enough, but nope. Fair maximum. And suddenly my commander becomes super strong. Well, not really super strong, but you get the idea. And let's try and do that warp wound over there, which might be a demon ship or something worse. Well, this is actually a pretty bad run because I haven't found another good weapon and I haven't done much to find a missile, plus my boarding is kind of weak. And I didn't manage to buy the healing bay or the med bay because I didn't have enough money. So when we kill, they'll have 1 damage only. Oh, he ran away. Oh. They know. Okay, recall the crew. Warp away. I'm just playing in a very relaxed fashion. Approach the Rapture. Pit Lord. Yeah, sadly we cannot board them because they have no oxygen on their ship and they also have a plague heart or a heart. This basically heals the... They have a Pit Lord. Almost skeleton, yeah. Basically what this does... Not fire. They can handle the skeletons. They're not so bad. What? Why does he have the attack reduced? Oh boy, this will be hard. Yeah, fire missile. Missiles ignore shields, as you can imagine. Okay. That was pretty close, and the rewards will not be much better, see? Pass through the Rapture. This game difficult. Difficulty will be shown over here. So we went from Torment 4 to Torment 8, which would be hilariously hard. I don't recommend you do, but just to show you the thingy. And as you can see, it's pretty much what you'd expect. You can go Technocold, Blood Cold, Discorn, Technocold is Tech Priests. Exclusion zones will just have more random effects. I really wish they would tone down the flashing effects. That's probably the thing I hate most about the game, the flash effects when you have the fire and the gases and the other stuff. They should really tone that down. Machine Nexus. But these are just husks. Let's board them. They seem to be in trouble, so let's take advantage of that. Okay, we killed that guy. So as you can see, he has 0 attack because of the first weapon we are using. Don't worry, it's only curse for them, not for us. The AI does a pretty good job of understanding what its abilities are. Be careful you don't accidentally destroy the ship by destroying its systems, because when you're attacking the ship like this, you're also attacking the systems. Nice, they're giving me good survivors. this basically means I can free up my crew, so my commander, so he's always in the launch bay. I also want to show you the machine shrine if it's possible. We might die in the process, yeah. Actually, have shortcuts for everything. If we had psychic powers, we can also assign them to numbers. We can also have shortcuts to crew members. This game has a lot of utility, what can I say? Just perfect. We'll take down the shields first, and the missile will take out the weapon. The extreme hit, no joke, right? This is gonna be a big fire on my ship. This ship is actually in trouble because it's much smaller, and as you can see, the fires are just killing their crew members pretty easily. Surrender. Each line should fire deplete the current HP of all support. What? So if I shoot a lance, it will deal a lot more damage, but it will deplete crew member health. Okay. That's not fun. But as you can see, we can get very specialized builds. Give me the rewards and then we'll leave. Yeah, that sound is the sound of us needing to run away. Okay, now this is funny because you get a little quiz. Emotion is true, order sustains function. Nothing. It merely functions as intended. Logical coherence maintained. Now I activated the shrine, so we are friendly with the machine priest and machine slave units that will appear more frequently in rewards and merchants, so you have a better chance of getting them after a combat, or just buying them, you get scrap and an armor. And now, as you can see, the commander will get even stronger. This speed is pretty good, but as you can see, it doesn't really have a lot of damage. It also has more damage in medium rooms. Medium rooms are 2 tile, large rooms are 4 tile, small rooms are 1 tile. So yeah, you kind of get the idea of the game. So much to say about the game and so much more to explore, but I'll just leave it at this. As you can see, we had to bypass the mercenary broker, but I wanted to show you this. Now, the mercenary broker is kind of useless if you don't pledge yourself to a shrine, because they'll only give you low tier units otherwise. I guess that's that. We'll do a let's play soon. Bye bye.